Shalom, shalom, and shalom, and welcome to Life Stories. This edition, we're going to be hearing from a friend of mine named Joshua, formerly Jonny, and Yahweh has done some great things in his life. Testimonies are powerful. When we speak of Yahweh's greatness and all the things he's done, honestly, it blesses his heart. And you know what Malachi says? It says that when people gather together and speak often of his name, that Yahweh opens up a scroll of remembrance and their names are in there. So may our names be in there as we give testimonies of Yahweh. And this time, let's just listen into our brother's testimony of the things that Yahweh is doing, has done, and will continue to do. And you'll be blessed. I am sure of it. Hallelujah.
I've been known as Joshua for I think it's about two and a half, maybe 3 months now, since I got baptised. What was something that I never used to think that I'd do, is the truth. I never thought I would, because I always believed that God was a punisher through like stuff that happened growing up. And throughout my life, to be quite honest with you. But I eventually one day hit my knees and asked for help because I couldn't live my life no more. And things changed overnight. I didn't see it myself so quick, but the people that I was living with did notice a difference in the morning. So that was like when I first asked Yeshua to come into my life, who I know as God at that time, and it still didn't happen overnight from then. I still carried on doing my own thing, but then I got called to this church, because I do believe it was a calling, how I ended up at this church, and it all just felt like it was meant to be. Like I says, with like growing up, I did used to go to Sunday school as a child, but then I got abused sexually, physically, everything. Then through deaths in family of like my children, my mum, my dad, my brother, all in the space of like from 2008 till 2014, I'd buried 2 kids, both parents and a brother. So I thought God was here to punish me. You know what I mean? Through the abuse, sexual abuse and stuff like that. I honestly thought I was here to be punished. There was a newborn, stillbirth. But it was one of the horriblest things I've ever been through. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's one thing I do know for sure. So I was active drug addict for 32 years. Started using drugs because, like I say, through sexual abuse as a child, not feeling like I fitted in. My mum used to always tell me that as a mistake, and stuff like that, which was mad, because as I've realised since I've been on this journey what I'm on now, my mum, she would call me Jonathan if she was angry with me, Jonny if she was normal with me, and Josh or Joshua if she was happy with me. And I ended up getting that name when I got baptised. Wow. So yeah, it was mental. I was always like taking drugs, been some real dark places in my drug use as well. Committing crime, going to prison backwards and forwards. Last time I was in prison was 2019, got out January 2020. I'd lost all hope, literally all hope. I didn't want to do prison no more, I didn't want to do drugs no more. but I had no way of getting out. I was living on the streets, in squats, bin sheds, eating out of bins, stuff like that, literally catching infections left, right and centre, whether it was bloodborne viruses or sepsis, whatever, because I've had quite a lot happen over my years of living in tents and stuff like that. And I sat there one day, my life, I see no way of nothing changing, and I hadn't picked up a Bible for a very long time and thought, I'm going to read it and see what this says to me today. And I've opened the Bible, picked it up and I've opened the Bible up, and the first page that was there was Joshua 1. That's what I opened up to. But even though what the Bible had just told me, and I could see it as like a speech, you know what I mean? It was like, it was kind of I felt like it was being forced onto me. I felt like Christianity was being forced onto me, so I ran away, because that's what I did. Not do today, but that's what I used to do. If something was getting too much or I felt like I was under pressure, I'd run away back to a squat, bin shed, taking drugs, because that's what I knew. That was my normal life, which is sad to say, but it's the truth of where I was. So I went back to my own town, Loughborough, stayed back in the squat that same night as I got back. Then I was there for 3.5 months. Coming to a treatment centre in Derby after, I think it was about 5 months, so it would have been about April, May time of last year, 2021. I was in a treatment centre and there was 9 of us what lived in there. Yeah. So like every day we would sit down and have a group where people could talk about things what was bugging them, if one of the other housemates was bugging them. And for like 4 months, every day, people would bring it up that, yeah, Johnny's doing this, Johnny's doing that, whatever. He's making my treatment hard. Because that's the kind of person I still was at that time. And on one night, after I got grouped, I've gone up to bed and literally I fell to my knees and I cried, please help me, God, I cannot do this on my own no more. And like I said, I got up the next morning and some of the lads had the worst things to say about me the day before in the group. Instantly there was like, there's something different about you. I was starting to be able to have conversations with people. I weren't having to force nothing on. I felt more comfortable within myself, but I didn't feel as comfortable as I do today. So it was okay. I ended up getting kicked out of that treatment centre after 11 months because I was still doing most things how I wanted it to be done. And then I relapsed at Christmas for 2 weeks, I started taking drugs again for 2 weeks. And then I went into a Christian treatment centre in January. And whilst I was in that treatment centre, I started reading the Bible every day again. Because like I said, it was a Christian treatment centre, so we'd do Bible studies every morning, and I'd do Bible studies with a couple of lads a couple of nights a week. And just before I left there, I think it was about 3 days before we left there, we went to a church, and it was like out of this world. It was. I knew who it was instantly, and it was Yeshua. That's who it was, and I knew instantly who it was. I was there that night, and there was 21 people I think being baptised, and we were singing a song. And as we were singing it, I could feel it coursing through my body. And all of a sudden, I felt someone breathe on the back of my neck. And I've turned around, there was nobody there. But because of the feelings I was having, and then the breathing on my neck from somebody what weren't there, well, what couldn't be seen. Sorry, they weren't there. They couldn't be seen with the naked eye. I knew straight away that Yeshua was there, you know what I mean, telling me that this is what you need to do. And I left that treatment centre, come back to Derby, and I think I'd been back about a week and a half, and Nathaniel had asked, Asher to come and see a couple of the people at the houses. But something went on that night, that weekend, so Nathaniel wasn't there, to bring Asher, because he was going to bring him around to meet me. Wow. As I found out afterwards. But on that weekend, even though he didn't come to mine, I come down here. I come to this church on my own. And it was just like, it was all meant to happen, but things like tried to get in the way, but it still come together. And that's why I say I believe that I was called to this church. Then I come to this church. I got asked to do a testimony the week after, and I did that. Yeah. Then, I went to the church, and as soon as I walked into the church in Nottingham, I knew this is the church for me. And I asked about it straight away. How can I get baptised here? Wow. And it took me about 2 months to get baptised, which was really good. So that's how I came from being Jonny to Joshua. So then I got baptised, and after I'd been baptised, Asher had been given a word. I had a couple of other people in the church on the same day saying that I should be the new born Joshua. It was mental as well. I still remember the feeling of it now, of that day and that war. It was just, words would never do it justice. A lot of weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It took away that victim card, if that makes any sense. Because before that I always thought I was a victim of life. Whereas today I don't think I'm a victim of life, I'm a survivor of life. I see God as loving, caring, compassionate, and I see him as my father. I see him as my dad today. And he doesn't punish people. Just because I'm a Christian now and I've got the name Joshua, it doesn't mean that things ain't going to turn up. What really hurt. I went through one last week where my mate died. Was more like a brother than a mate. But it's one of them, it happens. If you're not a follower of Yeshua, try it. You've got nothing to lose. Literally there's nothing to lose, man. He came, because a lot of people say they don't believe in him because it was only wrote in a book. But for me, it's easy to believe, but I do believe, you know what I mean? But it's easy to believe that he did walk the world. We didn't end up here by accident. They didn't on other planets, did they? So why did we? He made us, you know what I mean? It's true though, isn't it? You know what I mean? I believe he made us. If you are struggling with your faith, just keep on trying. Don't never stop.